In this video, I'm going to show you how to do an NFT drop with the 1155 contract from thirdweb. Hey, how's it going guys? My name's Daniel aka HashLips and welcome back to my channel. Now, I know we've discussed the 1155 contract before, but I've never shown the full process. And seeing that I had the use case to actually create an actual drop, I'm going to be doing this on the main network on Ethereum. And on top of that, I'll show you how to add thirdweb's widget in a web application and host it, so that you see the full process. Now, like I said, I had the use case to do this, and the reason is I want to give back to my community some of my artworks, my personal artworks. The community I'm talking about is the Sketchy Labs community. Anyone owning a Sketchy Ape Book Club NFT, which is these ones, will be able to claim some of these artworks in the future. Now, that just being said, it's something as a creator that I want to do for the community. So I need a smart contract, and that's why I will be using thirdweb. There's no need for creating this from scratch, and thirdweb will give me a nice interface to deal with the contract, seeing that I want to add artworks as time goes on. And the NFT contract that I want to use is the 1155 contract, not the 721. The reason is the 1155 gives me the ability to release an artwork and make multiple editions of that artwork and then have the community claim it for free or for a small fee. In my case, I want to release my collection for free and only make the Sketchy Ape community claim it. Therefore, this is perfect to use. So head over to thirdweb, and then what you need to do is click on Start Building. You will then need to log into MetaMask for them to show you this list of NFT and different smart contracts that you can use. I also want to mention that this will be kind of like a speed run. If you want something more in detail, go to my playlist on my channel and go and check out this full playlist on thirdweb. This goes into a lot of detail. For me, I'm just simply going to run with it and create the collection as well as the dApp. Now back at thirdweb's interface, let's select the perfect contract for our use case. And that is this one, Edition Drop. Make sure you select this one and not just Edition. The Edition Drop allows you to specify a certain amount of the same token for individuals to claim. When you click on that, make sure that you are logged into MetaMask on the right address that you want to deploy this from, as well as make sure that you're on the correct network. Now we get to fill in some details. I've gone ahead and filled in the name, symbol, description, as well as adding a logo image. If you scroll down, you can see there's an area where you can add an address for the recipient to receive the primary sales. By default, this will be the address that you are connected to. You can change the address, just make sure you have access to that account. The second one deals with royalties, secondary sales, but you can also set this percentage on different marketplaces. And that is it, and I do go in depth in the other series, but for now, I'm happy with this. So, next thing to do is to deploy this contract. Make sure you have selected the network that you want this contract to be deployed on, and then click on Deploy. Let's wait, and we should get a MetaMask pop-up telling us what to confirm and how much this will cost us. And here it is, it's saying that we need to confirm this, so let's wait and click on Confirm. Once the transaction is successful, you'll be brought to this page, and there is the address of this contract. So you can copy that, go to Etherscan, and let's go search for the contract. And here it is. We can see that this was deployed and is now on the network, although there are no NFTs in this contract yet. So the next thing for us to do is actually define the first NFT that we want to make available. Before we create our artwork, I would just like to show you that if you go to OpenSea right now and you go to My Collections, you won't see the collection here, and that is because there's no NFT in it yet. And that is a slight bit of a problem because on OpenSea, we would like to add some extra information on this collection. I do have a workaround for that, and that is to create the very first artwork and mint a small batch of it so that I can actually see the collection, add more details, and I'll do a small giveaway for the first NFT anyway. However, if you want to keep your first mint on a scheduled mint, then you just need to do this process after your community has minted your NFT. Let's continue with the process and you'll see what I mean. We now get to upload a single artwork or a batch upload. In my case, I need a single upload because this is one artwork that we're going to have many of. At this point, we can fill in the details. So add the name, your media file, description, and if you have some trade properties, you can add them in here and add many more. So I'll fill in my name, and then for the media, you get to upload an image, but I'm going to make this a bit more exciting. I'm actually going to upload an HTML file. When you do this, thirdweb also gives you the option to upload an extra cover image, which I'm going to do as well. And this will be the sunflower image. This is actually what you can do just by default, is a simple image. However, I'm doing something interactive because this touches on a following tutorial after this one. And that is pretty exciting. However, I want to reiterate that if you only have your PNG or your JPEG, just upload that. That's perfectly fine. I'm doing the extra HTML because I want to show you something amazing at the end of this tutorial. After adding my description, I am done. I don't need any properties for my artwork, but you can add some. And in the advanced options, you can even add a custom background image and a URL. I'm not going to do that, so I can just click on Lazy Mint NFT. And after confirming your transaction, your NFT should now be available on this contract, but not yet minted. And here we go. Our NFT is now lazy minted, meaning that it's ready for us to set up a claim phase. This is token ID 1. There's the file, the name, and the description. Now we can see the supply is 0. If you click on this arrow, and under the claim conditions, you can see that it requires us to set up an initial claim phase. A claim phase basically specifies the parameters that a drop is governed by. So, if we want to add a claim phase, we can click on Add Initial Claim Phase, and you can add multiple more. For us, we only need one, and there is some key information that you need to understand on these fields. So for the first field, this will tell you basically when individuals are able to start claiming these tokens. So, if you wanted to start immediately, just set this to a previous date. Otherwise, you can set it to a date in the future and make a post about it. In this field, we get to specify how many NFTs we want to mint. Now, seeing that this phase, I would like to mint all of them, I'm only going to make maybe 5 NFTs at the cost of 0. The reason for this phase is for me to mint out all 5 and give them away. Later on, I'll come back and make a second phase for this NFT and make it open to the public so that they can mint. But these parameters might look different for you because maybe you want to have your big public mint and you want to charge a fee per mint. However, mine is looking like this because I intend to mint it all out. Then you get to select the currency and down here, any wallet, or do you want to whitelist wallets that can mint in this phase. I'm going to whitelist my wallet, and you can actually whitelist a list of addresses. So go ahead and download the example so we can populate this. This is how the snapshot document looks, and you can add the list of addresses in here. I'm going to replace this first address with my address, and then go and download this as a CSV file. Now that I have my new snapshot, I'll drag that to the desktop, and then let's go back in here and let's drag and drop our edited file. You will see the available addresses in there, So just click next. And now we know that these two addresses, technically my one and the dead wallet, is on the snapshot. Now you can skip this step if you want to make it open to the whole public. But for my example, because I want to make sure that I only can mint out these 5, this is what I need to do. Very important over here, if you have a snapshot, a user can only be minting once. So when it comes to the NFTs per transaction, make sure that this is a feasible amount. In my case, I'm going to make it 5 because I'm going to have to mint all of them with one transaction. You can play around with this field. A recommended one is maybe 2 to 3 NFTs per transaction, depending on what your use case might be. And you also get a cool parameter. How many seconds does a wallet need to wait before the next claim? But we won't need that for now. Let's just maybe change the date to be the previous day, so I am 100% sure that this drop phase will be open. And then let me save my claim phases. Like I said, you can add additional phases as well. I only want to have these ones. So I'm going to say save, and we'll need to complete the MetaMask pop-up transaction. And then all we need to do is actually use the widget and add it to a basic HTML page, host it, and people will be able to go ahead and get the NFT. After the transaction is complete, this phase is now saved. So you can close it, and if you go back, you should still see it here. And you can change it and also add an extra phase, and that's perfectly fine. However, we now can actually go ahead and mint some. There are a few ways you can mint this NFT by either implementing the code or going for the embed. And this is what we're going to do. The embed provides you with an iframe that is essentially this widget. This widget allows a user to sign in and mint this current NFT. And in the code itself, how do we know that this is token 0? Well, if you go all the way to the end, you can see this in the URL. So our next job is to actually put this in an index.html file, because it's good enough to mint here, but a user will not have access to your thirdweb dashboard. So you need to expose this and show this in a public way. If you don't have an IDE yet, Visual Studio Code is a great IDE, basically a code editor. So go ahead and download this and we'll open it up. And here it is. So the next step for us is to go and open this up in a new folder. So click on open and then go to your desktop, wherever you want to save this. And I'm going to call this my Mint app. All right. That's fine. You can call it whatever you want to. Once you have opened this up in your new folder, right click, say new file, and this will be an index.html page. The next step for us is to add this piece of code. It basically specifies that this is an HTML document, has the HTML tags, as well as the body tags. If you don't know HTML, I do have a beginner course on this, but just bear with me and type this out exactly. Now that we have this, we can go back to the application, to the widget, go and copy this whole iframe, go back to the code, and paste this iframe between the two body tags. Now the HTML looks like this. If we save this file and actually open it up where it is saved, the index.html file, and you open it in your browser, you can see the widget being displayed over here. And you have all the functionality. I can disconnect, connect, and all sorts of wonderful stuff. Now it's a bit off center, so let's move this all in the middle of the screen. To do that, in the HTML, what we can say is we need a head tag, and in there, we're going to add a style attribute. So in the style, we can write some CSS. So for the body, what we want the body to do, and actually the HTML and the body, we want this to be the width of 100% and the height of 100 vertical height. Then for the body, so just space body, we want to justify the content center and align the item center as well. And don't forget to set the display to flex. Save it and then go back to the application. Maybe refresh just to make sure that you have the latest update. And now you can see that the application is perfectly centered. There's a whole lot more that you can do with this. However, I want to show you the basics. The last thing I do want to add is a title. Here I'm just going to say this is the more blue collection. And where does this title show up? Well, if you save it and go to the application, it usually shows up on the tab itself. But now we need to host this index.html file somewhere. And for those who don't know what to do next, it's very easy. Type into Google how to host a simple HTML file. Now there's many options for you to choose from. You can have a server on DigitalOcean. I am personally using AfriHost, but that's because I am staying in South Africa. But any hosting service will do. The process is kind of the same. You will log into your provider or your instance of your website, have access to the HTML files, and then simply upload the index.html file. For example, here I am in the cPanel that AfriHost provides me to manage my files of my hosted website called nftsurgeon.com. I can now go and manage my files, and I need access to the public HTML folder. In here, this is a previous application that I had. So I'm going to remove this, and then I'm going to upload. So what I need to upload is this index.html file. Go back, and there it is. Now with this in place, I can simply go to my domain. And there we go. If I go to my domain now, because I have added this widget with the HTML file to the host, I get to see the web page. It's not a very attractive web page, but at least it will work. And we can test this out. Firstly, let me go and connect my MetaMask and make sure you're using the address that you whitelisted. If you left the whitelist out, then this is perfectly fine. I am going to mint 5 of these, seeing that there is only 5, and click on mint. Now let's see what the damage is. I should only be paying gas, and yeah, that is perfect. So I'm going to say continue. And as you can see, this collection is now sold out. And this widget works very good. So if we go back to the dashboard now and we go to the NFTs, we should see the supply is now 5. So this is brilliant. And like I said, if you want to now add to this, you can add an additional phase. So this phase is already there, and you can change this, right, if you want to mint some more. However, the 5 have now been minted, and if I go to OpenSea and I refresh this page of my collections, I should see the more blue collection here. And that is beautiful. We now get to go and add some extra details on this collection. So let's go quickly do that. Going to sign this transaction, and in my collections, let me add some images and details. I have now updated the details of my collection with banners, descriptions. I've linked my Twitter, as well as added some social media. Perfect. This is wonderful. So after saving this, now we can go ahead and search for this collection. So let's search for the more blue, and there it is. And I can go to this collection, and we should see one item in here with 5 of these minted. Now you can actually see the image And let me show you the coolest thing of this. If I open this NFT up, guess what? I have made an interactive NFT experience for people. So, as you hover over the items, check the colors that change. This is pretty cool. So, if you really want to see how I did this interactive NFT with SVGs, let me know down in the comments right now and leave a like. So many people watch my videos, but they never really leave a like, and I really do appreciate that. So, if you're one of those who like this content, give me a thumbs up. And I really will then go ahead and make a beautiful video showing how to build this out. So just to recap, if you do want to now extend your phases, go in here, go to the claim conditions and add an extra phase and change the parameters. Then you can do it with the public, or do it with the public right from the start. I just minted 5 so I could set up the OpenSea details. And remember, this is an 1155 contract, so you can add another artwork and do the exact same process with that one, meaning that you will only need to update your embed, this one, to the new embed to make sure that you are minting the right NFT. And that is all it takes. I really hope you had some fun with me in this tutorial series. And if you want to get your hands on some of these artworks, then become a part of the Sketchy Ape Book Club. We are a fascinating group of artists and enthusiasts in this space, and I'm pretty sure you're going to find a tribe